get my... Alright, so you gotta die to get your equipment, so might as well just do that immediately. You can... Seriously? You got this thing up and running in like 10-15 minutes max. The hardest part is making, there's like 2 trick jumps that are difficult until you get them the first time, and then you'll see that they're not actually that hard. And you really only have to get them done once to unlock this. You really have to do this at the beginning of the game, because if you go into the Forbidden Woods area, you can screw this up permanently. So it works in both New Game and New Game Plus. In my experience. I like the axe. I rock the axe. I liked the threaded cane originally, but it feels like it just doesn't scale very well at the higher levels. I mean, it's good for crowd control at the beginning, but I found it pretty ineffective even once I got into like the level 30 range. We wait patiently through these like 45-second loads. So I'm sure they're going to patch this out. I know they've already listed that there's server downtime coming on the 23rd, which is 5 days from now. So they have to be aware of this, and it seems like it would probably not be that difficult to fix. You do not need to get this vial, but I'm going to get it just in case I run into health issues.
Then I'm very...
I shouldn't, but you know, better safe than sorry. Let me equip my gear. Okay, so the gist of the whole thing is we're gonna glitch our way into the Forbidden Woods area through this shortcut very early on. We're gonna do it almost immediately, whereas this is usually you can't usually unlock this till you're in the Forbidden Woods. I was in that area a lot. I did a lot of grinding in there, and honestly, I didn't even find the secret area probably in the first 50 times I went through there. I kind of felt like an idiot once I found it. So you can get there moderately early in the game, but we're going to get there immediately. Again, you do not need to pick up any of this stuff I'm picking up. I'm just doing it because you're going to need some blood vials, just because you're so low level and there's a poison area we have to run through. So, better safe than sorry. Just get this guy out of the way. We need to open up. Well, we don't actually technically need to open up this gate, but you're going to want to because you might die fighting the Executioner. So we're going to just go ahead and get over there as fast as we can. This process is honestly very simple. The hardest part is the jump you're going to have to make. You can probably light that. I'm sort of trying to eliminate things that might be complicating this, because I've had a little trouble with this in New Game Plus. It's far less consistent. So I'm just trying to sort of avoid anything that might be screwing it up. I mean, it's already a glitch. Something weird's already going on with the programming. I just want to reduce the number of factors that might disrupt it. So, take these guys out. You're going to want to trigger this crowd so they start moving. You know, just let these guys pass by. No point in fighting them. If you want to, I guess you could to speed this up by a few seconds, but more likely you're just going to get mobbed and killed this early on in the game. Also, you know, I don't recommend doing this for your first playthrough. This is a great game. I put 70 hours into beating it, just on New Game, not New Game Plus, because I wanted to make sure I explored every little thing. I missed some NPC storylines, because as always, they're tricky. We're going to open this up in case we die, so we don't have to go back up and down again. And we're going to have to take this guy out, who's a little tougher early game, but if you've gotten good at parrying, it's not that difficult. So, of course, I'll probably die here immediately now. Even worse, you can't parry all of his attacks, so it can be a little tricky. Just take 2 of those, and then he'll be out of our way. Into him. That patrol will come back if you're in this area long enough, but you should be able to pull this off before anyone's back here to bother you. Okay, so here's I'm going to describe it real quick, what we're going to do. You're going to jump up onto this ledge that runs along here. How we're going to do that is by jumping up over this coffin, the one lying flat on the ground here, the one I'm standing on. You're sort of going to jump into it, and it'll just bounce you up here if you hit it just right. And then we're going to run back this way along that ledge using these sandbags to sort of do the same thing. They bounce you over, and eventually we're going to land on the opposite side of this fence, right in between the church and the fence. Then you run along here, you drop down, and we can unlock that shortcut to that first area right outside the clinic immediately, rather than coming up the back way. So, this is the jump you have to make. I'm going to say, personally, I don't know if this will work for everyone. For me, I had a much easier... Well, first of all, you got to be running. I'm doing a terrible job here. Jesus, what is going on? I'm having a hard time running. So you want to hit it running. If you hit it just at the right angle, you'll see it'll sort of pop you up and land you over here. I personally had a much, much easier time doing it this way, sort of looping around in a U-turn, but with the camera this way. I don't know whether that's just me, whether it's a little easier, or just has something to do with the way I play the game and what typically works for me. So all I know is I spent about 20 minutes trying to do it from the other side and couldn't get it, and then I did it almost immediately when I switched to this way. So whatever works for you. See, there we go. It's not as hard as it looks. It might take you a while the first time. You'll get a feel for the pacing of it. You know, honestly, I think about it like I'm skateboarding, like you're sort of like trying to ollie off that and grind on here. It kind of works. So you can see the notes from people here who've figured this glitch out. So you stay along here. You don't want to fall off the edge before you screw up this first jump, because then you just have to get up here. You know, you might end up taking a few minutes to make that jump. This jump is trickier than it looks. When you're making this jump, oftentimes you're going to end up on the wrong side. You're like by the church right there. You'll see, I'll probably screw up. And then you can walk along this ledge, the one that's directly in front of me, but you can never get back on there. So if you don't hit the jump, you're best off just running down and doing it again, both jumps again. So we're going to try this here. See? This is getting it wrong. So this, you can never get back up there. Don't even waste your time. Just, it's weird. You're kind of like magnetically stuck to this, but if you walk over to the ledge, you'll drop back down. So that'll probably happen to you a few times, so I'm actually glad that happened, so I don't make it look like it's incredibly easy. It's pretty easy, but you're bound to screw up a few times, especially the first time you get it. I tend to either get it right away or it takes a while. Because I've run around just setting up a couple other characters before they patch this out just to do wacky stuff with, like, you know, going to level 200 right off the bat and running through the game in like 90 minutes. Opening up this shortcut this early actually allows you to skip a bunch of stuff in the game if you want to as well. So, all right, we're going to try to make this jump again. It's a little precise. You gotta, when you hit the jump, you want to move a little bit to the right, but not too far, because you really need to land right in between that fence and the house, or a church. It's probably a church, whatever it is. If you don't do it enough to the right, you know, you don't get over the fence. If you do too much, you end up in front of that, and then you just have to run around to do both jumps again. The good thing is you only have to do this once. Once you accomplish it, you're going to open up that shortcut, and you can keep repeating the glitch without having to make these jumps. Man, I am not even coming close. I think I'm jumping too late. There we go. Okay, so this is where you want to be. We're just going to roll along back here. Drop down. Open up this shortcut so we never have to make those jumps again. And we're going to proceed down this hole. Here's a pro tip. You need to acquire insight to level up at some point. So you can find Madman's Knowledge somewhere, or you can get it as soon as you fight a boss. The easiest way to do it is there's one right down here. But there's a pretty high level enemy here. It's like those sort of like insight sucker guys. But directly ahead of us, you can see that item. That is Madman's Knowledge. So we're going to run in here, grab it, run out of here before this guy on the left gets us. So get out of there. You do not want to engage him at all, because he'll kill you easily this early in the game. So we're going to go back to our area here. He won't chase you. You can go ahead and pop your insight so that the next time you head to Hunter's Dream, you'll be able to level up with the doll. So we're going to head on down here through two huge ladders. And this is going to bring us to that cave that is in the Forbidden Woods, which it's incredibly easy to run past. I went through that area at least 50 times before I noticed it. And the water in here is poisonous. So here's the quickest route across. You're going to want to run, take a quick left here. We're heading to that bank ahead. Stay to the right because this giant will try to attack you. If you get even a little bit to the left, he can easily reach out and hit you. And he's enough to like one-shot you this early in the game. We're poisoned. Those are two antidotes right there if you want them. You don't really, I mean, just keep an eye on your health because you can easily die here. So now this is pretty easy. We roll up right on these caged dogs, and all we're going to do is kill these 4 dogs that are in these cages. So. One. Take some blood here before I die. Dog number 3. Dog number 4. Okay, now we're out of here. That's it. That's all we're doing in here. I've done the math. So the glitch is the souls from those 4 dogs. On new game, I mean on your original game, it's like 2,400 or something like that. Because it's whatever. If you add those 4 up, it adds up to exactly the amount that you're going to be getting. Again, when you're running past here, you want to avoid these guys. You do not want to engage them at all. Now we're back in here. We're poisoned again. Pop some blood so I don't die while climbing the ladder. in New Game Plus, right out of the gate, it's like 10,000 per instance. You'll see what I mean in a second. For some reason, the souls, you basically just keep getting the blood echoes. I'm sorry. I keep thinking about the soul. I just call them souls because this is obviously just another Souls game. You get about 10,000 and change right out of the gate in New Game Plus. If you have runes, like if you've done a full playthrough of the first game and you have runes that'll boost your echoes, you do keep those when you start New Game Plus, and you can get over 14,000 and change it's like every couple seconds. So you'll see. Even doing it this way, you can rack up about 2 million an hour, which is pretty considerable. That's enough to you can get about 100 levels on 2 million. So we stroll back into the clinic, and this is the weirdest part. There's an area in here, and it's not the same every time. It's somewhere within this room where you will get the souls from those dogs just by moving around in here. So see that? I got 2,000 there just from running near this spot somewhere. So when it works well, you can get in a position where running in a circle will trigger it constantly. So let's test that here. See, now we're rocking. Now what you want to do, get yourself a rubber band. Rubber band your left stick. I'll show you how I do it. In a position like that. And if you adjust your camera just right, which is not hard, so I've got my left stick is stuck down here. My guy's running in a circle. And I'm going to get my camera just right. There we go. So completely hands off, we're racking up 2,000 souls, every 2 seconds? So what you want to do, plug this back into your charging unit, have it charged into the PS4. You can have this thing run overnight. It'll rack up about 2 million blood echoes an hour. And this is the regular game. If you do New Game Plus, it's about 10,000. It's a lot trickier in New Game Plus though, because for some reason often the spot in the room is stuck in a corner where you can't have it circle around, or sometimes it'll work and then just inexplicably stop working after sometimes only a few times and sometimes hours. So I don't know. It's a pretty interesting trick if you want to create a secondary character to just screw around with. Like I said, I already beat the game. I heavily encourage you to play the game through straight the first time, because there's more than enough souls, and grinding is sort of part of it. But if you want to create a second character just to screw with, or to run through the dungeons or something, I don't know, it's probably worth doing. So I've made a couple characters like this that I'm doing just because I'm sure they're going to patch this out. So get it while you can. Hopefully this is pretty clear. All you need is, what do we got, 20 minutes at most? So you can do this with 15 minutes and a rubber band, and then let this thing run overnight and just have a zillion souls when you get up in the morning and shut it off. So hope you find it useful, and happy hunting. See you later.